In late February, early March, I sowed my leek seeds, and what I tend to do is I use a flat tray and fill it up with compost, and then sow the seeds in fine rows going across the tray, and I leave them to grow. I let them grow till they're about 4, 5 or 6 inches high, that sort of height, and then I can transplant them into the garden. And because I've sown the seeds in rows, it's very easy just to take a knife and cut through the compost and have little strips about this sort of size that I can then plant into the ground and let them grow on. And grown they have. So I'm really pleased with them. They're looking great. And now that their stems at the base are pencil thick, it's time to do the next stage with them. That might seem like quite a lot of faff to just to produce some leeks, but leeks are just about my favourite vegetable. Now I'll say this about a lot of vegetables because I like my veg, but leeks are winter hardy and will sit out in our climate, which goes down to -7, -10, and where we are now, well, I don't think it's gone below -3, but anyway, leeks are winter hardy and will just sit out there, and then you just go and lift them as you need them. So there isn't a storage issue with them. You store them in the ground, or you can lift them all and freeze them. And I use them not just as the vegetable leek, but I use them as an alternative to onions. That's me raving about leeks. I like them. They're really a mild taste, and they're easy to use. They're great in stews and stir fries, and yeah, so all round good veg. And the fact that they are easy to grow is just a bonus. Well, the next stage is to get them into their permanent positions, and they just need planting, and it's a very simple thing to do. No special skills required. However, at my request, Mr. J has made me a really useful tool for planting my leeks, and here it is. It's the handle from I can't remember if it was a spade or a fork, but it was one of those that broke, and the digging implement, the metal parts came off the end. So he cut the end off for me and has left me with this poking stick, a pokey stick. Yeah, that probably doesn't sound great, but anyway, that's what it's left me with, because what it allows me to do is to very easily make a hole in the ground, and I literally just have to push. Now, even with our soil that is atrocious, that that will allow me to make some sort of hole, and then the transplanting process becomes very simple. I literally just lift using a trowel. I lift a few of the young leeks, and there you can see where I sowed them in the rows. Right, I'm going to just gently rub off any surplus soil, and then to make separating them easier, I pop them into water and I gently swish them around, which hopefully will help remove some more of the soil on their roots, because I don't want to damage the roots, and I certainly don't want to damage the stems. So just giving it a little rinse, well, that helps enormously. And then the next thing to do is literally just pull the leeks away from the bunch without, if you can help it, if you can help it, without damaging the roots too much. So So I tend to do just a few at a time. And now here comes the hard part. You take one of the plants and you put it into a hole, you dibble its roots in, and you just let it fall over. And here's my dibber with a nice handle, and actually as I'm pulling the dibber out, I'll pop the leek in, and that's it. And the next important thing to do is to water them, and you just fill up the hole with some water. But while I'm here, I'll get those next few in. You make your hole, and I leave the dibber in until I'm ready to use it. Until I'm ready to use the hole. Take the young plant and then as I'm pulling the dibber out, I drop the young plant in. And you can see there are still some roots, and when we water it, that will knock a bit of the soil in and cover the roots up. Now, because I've been lucky enough to sow so many seeds, I can pick and choose which little plants I want. So I'm actually only planting the larger, the thicker of the young leeks. And I've got 3 different varieties there, an early maturing, mid maturity and a late maturing. So I've got leeks coming on throughout the autumn and winter and spring. I've also got a bunch of really noisy ducks this morning. So I'm only planning to plant the thicker of the young leek plants, and then the other ones I've been advertising on a local community site to see if anyone with allotments or gardens would like the surplus. So I'm growing enough for our use, and to have, all being well, a few left over after we've had what we need to be able to sell in mixed veg boxes from the farm gate. But we'll see, because obviously feeding us comes first. But yes, so the thinner ones that I'm unlikely to get into the ground, I've been offering to other people because they'll be quite happy to grow them on and to use those. And free food is, after all, free food. And the last step in planting leeks successfully is to water them in really thoroughly. And because you're not filling in that little hole that you've planted them in with soil, you fill it up with water, and that just pushes the soil very gently around the roots and the young plant, because you don't want to firm it in, because the more space there is around the plant of quite loose soil, the easier it is for growing, and what you want is a nice fat leek. You take your watering can and you filled up the hole. Next one, watering can, and you filled up the hole. Do you again? You literally just fill the hole with water. So that's my task for the day. Today it's to get over 250 leeks into the ground. So I hope that's given you a bit of inspiration for planting leeks. And if you didn't sow any as seeds, you may well still be able to buy them as starts at your local garden centre or plant nursery. And it's certainly worth giving a go. Thank you for watching today, wherever you are, and whatever your plans are for today. I hope they're all good for you too. And I also hope that you'll be able to join me again tomorrow.